It is Friday, June 5th, 2020, and you are tuned into DIRTRACKR Daily. I'm Justin Fiedler. Last night was the opening night of the three-race Dirt Late Model Stream Weekend at Eldora Speedway, taking the place of the original Dream Weekend. 48 cars were invited to race, and the first night had $10,000 on the line. Through the first two nights, drivers are accumulating points to set them up for Saturday night's heat races. In qualifying, it was Chris Ferguson who went quickest over Brandon Overton and Jimmy Owens. Heat races were won by Ferguson, Overton, Shane Clanton, and Tim McCready. The first B main was won by Jonathan Davenport, with Dennis Erb Jr. and Chase Youngins transferring. Dale McDowell won the second B main and transferred with Frank Hickadas Jr. and Kyle Bronson. For the night's feature, after the invert, it was actually Kyle Strickler starting on the pole, with Michael Norris from Pennsylvania also on the front row with him. On the green flag, Strickler jumped to the early lead over Norris, with Shane Clanton settling into third. There was one caution at lap 3 for a slowing Jimmy Owens, and then from there the feature went green to the end after that. Strickler was able to build a large lead and was never really challenged out front. He did make contact with the outside wall down the backstretch early in the show. Had some fairly significant damage to that right rear quarter panel. It looked like the body panels had kind of separated there, and the spoiler was kind of hanging off of it and all kinds of stuff. But it didn't really seem to slow him down. He was able to dominate the 30-lap feature to win the $10,000 check on night one. Shane Clanton finished second, Brandon Shepard was third, Ricky Thornton Jr. was fourth, and Bobby Pierce was fifth. Brandon Overton was third behind Shane Clanton late in the running, but actually pulled off with a problem and was scored in the 23rd position at the end of the race. Strickler super pumped up in victory lane following the race. He wasn't originally actually even invited to the Dirt Late Model Stream and was not part of the 4 drivers voted in by the fans. When 4 of the original invitees turned down their chance to race, Strickler was added as an alternate. He certainly made the most of the opportunity. I know a lot of people out there were kind of thinking, why did Kyle Strickler get invited to this? You know, a guy who's more known for his modified achievements than his late model achievements here the last couple of years, but great to see him get the win. He was really pumped up in victory lane. It'll be fun to watch the next couple of nights here. The Dirt Late Model Stream is back again tonight for night 2 live on Flow Racing. The 48 drivers will again compete for $10,000 with more points up for grabs leading into Saturday's $50,000 to win feature. Obviously, we'll be back on Monday to break it all down for you guys. The All-Star Circuit of Champions attempted to race at Lawton Speedway in Oklahoma last night. They got through hot laps and qualifying, and then a thunderstorm blew in, and it got incredibly windy. I'm not even sure if it actually rained before they called it off, but the winds were insane. Obviously, you can't put wing sprint cars on a racetrack when it's windy. Officials decided to move the night's program to Monday night. The All-Stars continue through the weekend with 3 more shows. Tonight, they're at Red Dirt Raceway in Oklahoma. Saturday, they move to Outlaw Motor Speedway, also in Oklahoma, and then Sunday they're at 81 Speedway in Kansas before heading back to Lawton on Monday to make up last night's show. If you cannot attend those shows, Flow Racing will carry live streaming coverage all 4 nights. We'll be back on Monday to break down the whole weekend for the series. One night after grabbing his first USMTS modified win, Tanner Mullins nearly made it 2 in a row at 81 Speedway in Kansas. The night before, Mullins was the benefactor of late race trouble for Terry Phillips. Last night, after starting third, Mullins made his way to the lead on lap 4 and was out front for most of the feature. A pair of late cautions stacked up the field and allowed 8 starting Ryan Gustin to close on Mullins. With only 3 laps remaining, Gustin took over the top spot and drove away to win. Zach Vanderbeek was third, Jake O'Neill fourth, and Rodney Sanders finished 5th. Derek Ramirez, who actually entered the night as the points leader by a couple over Rodney Sanders, finished 7th. And because of Sanders' 5th place finish, the two have now re-swapped the points. Sanders back out front heading into tonight at Humboldt Speedway. The USMTS close out a busy weekend tomorrow night at Tri-State Speedway in Oklahoma. I believe both of those shows will be live on Racing Dirt if you cannot attend. It was a busy day of announcements yesterday for Volunteer Speedway in Tennessee. The World of Outlaws Late Model Series announced they will head to the Tennessee racetrack on June 19th and 20th and have postponed June races at Cochran Motor Speedway, State Line Speedway, and Sealands Grove Speedway. The All-Star Circuit of Champions also announced a 2-day show at Volunteer Speedway. They're scheduled for the following weekend, June 27th and 28th. You know, with the tracks in the series dealing with this kind of ever-changing landscape of state and local regulations to deal with, announcements like this will probably be the norm for some time. You know, you can kind of throw some of these schedules out right now. It's just kind of the nature of the beast that, you know, they've had all of these events, you know, scheduled, you know, for a long time. And, you know, a lot of it right now just doesn't matter. So, you know, again, I think this will be kind of the norm. But, you know, as long as we've got racing going on, you know, we'll take it. We'll take whatever we can get. Just make sure you're checking in advance, you know, series websites, track websites, things of that nature to make sure that you know when you're racing, where you're racing, and things like that before you hop in a car and take off. So we'll certainly try to keep you updated as more of these get announced. After a recent successful trip to Louisiana for the Northeast Modifieds, the Southern Super Modified Series and the Short Track Super Series have announced a November 14th 20,000 to 100 lapper for Northeast Modifieds at Chatham Speedway in Louisiana. The recent races in the South, for the Modifieds drew big car counts and nice crowds, which spurred this announcement. More information on the weekend, including a full schedule, will be released in the future. Looking to tonight and the weekend, we've got 2 more World of Outlaws Sprint Car Series shows on tap at Beaver Dam Raceway in Wisconsin. I whiffed again on my predictions last week for the sprint cars. Brad Sweet was favored by the formula at Lake Ozark. I did, however, get my first 2 wins with Brandon Shepard on the late model side. Sweet was 8th on night 1 after the big crash in his heat race on Friday night last week, and then he finished 3rd on Saturday last week behind Donnie Schatz and Kyle Larson. I made a few adjustments to the formula this week. I have been talking about that, and I finally had a chance last night to kind of mess with it a little bit. So we'll see if we do any better. One of the 3 factors in the formula is who's currently trending. And what I had done was who was trending over the previous 10 races, and I've cut that down to previous 5 races. That 10 races at this point, takes us back into the 2019 season, and I want that to really kind of just focus on races for this year. So I've cut that from 10 races down to 5. Brad Sweet, still hot right now. Won the series last visit to Beaver Dam, so it's no surprise the formula has him as the pick this weekend. Donnie Schatz has the 2nd highest chance, but it's interesting to see some other names now popping up into here. Shane Stewart has the 3rd highest win chance this week at Beaver Dam. He's been really fast the past 4 races, and his most recent finishes at Beaver Dam are 4th and 2nd. So, a really good opportunity for Shane Stewart this weekend with, the success he's had the last couple of weeks in that Indy Race Part 71, plus a racetrack he's had success at in the past. Darren Pittman is 4th on the list, boosted by his past 2 runs at Beaver Dam, 2nd and 1st. I believe 2nd and 1st, or 3rd and 1st. He's been a factor the last 4, hasn't been a factor the last 4 races with the World of Outlaws, but a track like Beaver Dam is somewhere he can really get moving in the right direction again. So it'll be interesting to watch this weekend. But Brad Sweet, again, the pick for the Sprint Car Series. I'll try to get results in after tonight's show and then do some predictions again tomorrow on the DIRTRACKR Twitter account for the Saturday night show as well. Both nights of Beaver Dam will have limited crowds, but for those who can't be there, Dirt Vision will have all the action live both nights. You can watch live as part of your Fast Pass. And speaking of streaming, there's another jam-packed weekend full of racing that gets rolling tonight. If you're stuck at home looking to catch a live stream, DIRTRACKR.com/watch tonight has you covered with nightly schedules. Tonight we've got shows from Dirt Track Digest, Dirt Vision, Flow Racing, Racing Dirt, Speed Shift, The Cushion, Speed Sport. The World of Outlaws are in there, All-Stars, Late Models at Eldora, Sealands Grove is back with 410s. There's a lot more stuff mixed in there, and there'll be plenty of more racing through the weekend to check out. So if you're looking for something tomorrow night, Sunday to watch, DIRTRACKR.com/watch tonight will have you covered for all of the action. And I'll keep that updated again as we move forward. And things like Flow Racing still doing 24/7 USAC stuff. So there's plenty of stuff to watch, plenty of stuff to get into. And I've been saying this a lot lately, but if you decide to head to the racetrack this weekend, be safe. Do whatever you need to do. Whether that's social distance, wear masks, bring your hand sanitizer, whatever it is. Just be safe as you head to the racetrack this weekend. And we'll make sure that these racetracks stay open and continue to have races for everybody. And for those racetracks that are closed, these will be good examples of why racetracks should reopen. So make sure you're doing the necessary things you need to do. That's the show for today. Hope everybody had a good week. Hope everybody enjoys their Friday. And, please get a chance, watch some racing this weekend. We've been treated to some fantastic action. There's no doubt about that. You can find DIRTRACKR Daily on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Stitcher, or where you get podcasts. Please subscribe and leave a review. You can also watch the show every day on YouTube and Facebook. You can email the show at info@dirttracker.com. You can follow along at facebook.com/DIRTRACKR, twitter.com/DIRTRACKR, and the website itself, DIRTRACKR.com. You can follow me personally on Twitter at Justin_Fiedler, and you can sign up for the DIRTRACKR weekly newsletter live on the site. Thanks everybody for tuning in this week. Again, have a good weekend. Have a good Friday. We'll see you on Monday for more DIRTRACKR Daily.